Episode 238. Looking at Ishgard was a familiar perspective. The same one that we saw when we first came here in episode 1, or whatever episode number it was when we came to Ishgard for the first time. And now we're finishing the Dragon Song War this episode. We're still going to be here as our base of operations for the remaining 2 patches, 3.4 and 3.5, and just in general a lot of things in between all of that, but this would be the last set of quests for this storyline. Through the haze of pain I swear I sensed, but no, the past is done, and we must look to the future. He's referring to sensing Horsefont and Isael, their ghosts, helping us in that moment. Again, just a really poignant moment, I think. Probably one of the strongest moments, most memorable ones, even though I did forget the moment actually with Horsefont and Isael. I mean, I remembered the moment on the bridge, removing the eyes from Estinian. That stands out in my memory as one of the big things in this game, just where Alphinaud cast aside reason, or something like that, just to save a friend. A big character moment for him. But the part where Isael and Estinian, or not Estinian, Horsefont came in to help you, that one did slip my mind, so it was nice to experience it once again. Anyway. At long last Nidhogg is gone, his foul spirit cast out once and for all. I only pray that Estinian survives the ordeal. I guess I could have ended that quest at the end of the last episode, but we did it just now. Your battle with Nidhogg's Shade will beget many an epic ballad, Komoi, and rightly so. It was without a doubt one of your more epochal victories, though I must admit that I took greater joy in seeing you emerge from the experience unscathed. Yeah, I guess the battle was pretty cool. First we had the cutscene, that intro with the battle against Hraesvelgr, dragon against dragon, on the bridge. Very epic and all that. And then we finished the job with a party of 8 in a trial. Good way to end the storyline, but we kind of blasted through a lot of those phases just because everyone joining in is high item level through the duty finder. Might not have seen every mechanic, but I think it was still sufficiently epochal enough. And not only for your own sake, had you not been there to aid me, those infernal eyes would still be fused to Estinian's mail. Yet even with Nidhogg gone, I cannot help but wonder how much of our friend remains. Let us pay a visit to Lucia, and beg news of his condition. After that huge scene, that tearful reunion, I guess you could call it, surely he has to be okay, right? He can't just die due to complications after this. Surely not. Let us speak with Lucia. She will know how Estinian fares. Komoi, Master Alphinaud, my honored friends. As if winning Hraesvelgr to our cause were not enough, you took it upon yourselves to rid us of his broodfather. I know not how to thank you. My own contribution was hardly noteworthy. The true saviors of the day were Komoi and Estinian. One trumped over Nidhogg's Shade through strength of arms, and the other through strength of will. And speaking of Estinian, what news of his recovery? The Azure Dragoon was conveyed to the infirmary, where he now resides under the care of our hospitalier captain. Never heard of that word, hospitalier. Interesting. I am told he has yet to regain consciousness. But you know, Estinian's mind and body were held hostage for many days. We must be patient, and allow the process of healing to begin. In the meantime, you would do well to rest and recover from your own ordeals. But surely, Sir Aymeric is never long from Estinian's bedside, and will send word the moment there are any developments. Now, if I have satisfied your concerns, I believe Lord Edmond and his sons are most eager to celebrate your return. Very well, First Commander. Come, Comoy, 'twould seem we are awaited at Fort Tom's Manor. Pray call upon Lord Edmont. I gather Fort Tom's Manor holds its press for your return. You know, it's kind of a sudden escalation. I mean, we knew it was coming, that Nidhogg's attack was imminent. But right after we recruited Hraesvelgr after that dungeon, just then and there, it was the final battle. I forgot how quick it was, but I guess it does last the course of 3 patches, the foreshadowing or whatever, so I guess it's about time. Welcome, Mistress Morko. Shall I show you inside the manor? Yeah. They could just have a door, you know, instead of a guy, but they have a guy there, because they're rich.
The heroes of the hour return.
There's his iconic voice, truly irreplaceable. Might be the last time we get to hear him narrate pretty soon.
We but did our duty, my lord. It was the memories of fallen friends and not our heroism which saw us through at the last.
I gave every ounce of my strength, but mine efforts would have counted for naught had the Warrior of Light not arrived to challenge the Great Worm. As a sworn knight of Ishgard, I had hoped to do more for my city.
Yeah, and don't think we forgot your comment out in the battlefield. What was it you said? We were late? Please.
Well, we cannot all be heroes, dear brother. Let us put away our pride for a moment and revel in the valiant deeds of our comrade. For your sterling service to Ishgard, we salute you. And while we're on the subject of valiant deeds, I believe I myself have earned some small measure of recognition. Under my watchful command, the ballistas of the Outer Ward struck down a veritable swarm of Dravanian invaders.
Great. Great for you, Amanelaine.
My lord's command was certainly watchful. He bravely watched as the siege crews took aim, and continued to watch as countless wyverns met their end. Indeed, the ward's defenders proved so well drilled that my lord had little occasion to stop watching.
Thanks, Honoror. Always a pleasure. Were you in battle too, based on your armor? Hopefully they don't send this guy into battle, but I guess they must have.
There will be time enough to determine who is most deserving of recognition later. Our friends are doubtless weary from their exertions. I had chambers prepared in expectation of your return. You are welcome to retire at your leisure.
I am most grateful for your hospitality, my lord, but I believe I shall pay a visit to the Temple Knight's Infirmary. Pray excuse me.
Our Master Alphino has grown. The plight of his stricken brother-in-arms pains him more than his own hurts. In which respect he has come to resemble you, Warrior of Light. Go then, visit the Azure Dragoon, and grant him what comfort you may.
Resemble us? In what way? I don't think we're quite so heroic. If anything, we should aspire to be more like Alphinaud. What about you, Honorall? Honorall? Forget how to pronounce this. If my lord's irrepressible optimism were ever to fix upon something about which he had cause to be optimistic, I dare not think what he might achieve. Run that by me again? His irrepressible optimism to fix upon something about which he had cause to be optimistic. You lost me there. If his optimism, just removing all the adjectives and getting to the bare bones of the sentence, if his optimism or to fix on something about which he had cause to be optimistic, I dare not think what he might achieve. Okay, so if he fixed his goals on something that was worth being optimistic about, he might actually do something, or something like that. You're very wordy, Honorall. Very well learned. Without the guiding hands of yours truly, House Hyanart's famous dragon killers wouldn't have killed half so many dragons just now, as I shall be sure to tell my lady when we next meet. I'm sure. At long last Nidhogg is gone. No true son of Ishgard could wish for more. Yet scores of my brother knights fell in the battle, and I find my joy tempered by their loss. Go, warrior of light. We will not begrudge you time spent at a comrade's sickbed. And these two guys? Once more you risk your life in service to Ishgard. We are forever in your debt. And this one. We prayed for your safe return, Mistress Moriko. If I may be so bold. Welcome home. Is this home? He mentioned that he had some rooms waiting for us to rest in, but we never get to see those rooms. The only place we really get to sleep in is out there. The Forgotten Night, where there's an actual inn and whatever. We never actually get a cutscene that says, hey, your character is going to be sleeping here for the entirety of the expansion, but I'm pretty sure it's assumed that you're going to be sleeping there, canonically or something. Or are you canonically sleeping in Fortom's Manor? I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but they kind of make it more canon in later expansions, your lodging accommodations. They have exactly what I just mentioned. Cutscenes that indicate where your character is staying for the time being. Things like that. And even cutscenes inside in rooms. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Komoy, my friend. What can I do for the savior of Ishgard? You seek Master Alfinod? Ah. He came to relieve me of my vigil a short while ago. When he begged to sit at Estinian's side, I could not well refuse him. Though he would sooner faint than admit it, the boy must be exhausted by Hraesvelgur's trial, and all that followed. Yeah, it was all the same day, one after the other. Kind of crazy, we had to go through fighting a dragon in a huge trial, and exhaust ourselves doing that right before the final battle. But I guess it worked out. Estinian is blessed to have such devoted comrades. My targeting is off. There we go. Estinian is resting in our infirmary. The sick beds are our front line now, and the battle to save the wounded continues unabated. Oh, this is it. Based on the photo of the book. The very last mission of Heavensward, well, of the Dragon Song War, which I guess is the expansion, the base expansion, Heavensward, plus the 3 patches after that. Those 4 things, all together, I guess. My own friendship with Estinian began some 10 years past, shortly after we joined the Temple Knights. I learned his name soon enough, but Estinian barely registered my existence. I was less a fellow recruit and more a shadow which occasionally darkened his path. And so I might have remained, had fate not seen fit to intervene. While out on patrol, our company was set upon by a dragon, and we were the only 2 to survive. The experience forged a bond between us, as such life-threatening situations are wont to do. Never realized we didn't really get their backstory until now. Actually, just in general, we didn't really get any story on Aymeric until pretty late into Heavensward. We didn't even know that he was the bastard son of the Archbishop until pretty late, when he was taken captive. And when we met him back in the Realm Reborn patch quests, we barely knew anything about him other than being the Knight Commander. Not that we needed his backstory up front, but I think it's just like a change in the writing, right? You don't really get attached to the characters in A Realm Reborn the same way that you do in these expansions and later on, because you don't really get these same kind of backstory moments. Well, we're getting it now. Despite our friendship, he remained an intense and solitary youth, wholly obsessed with claiming vengeance against Nidhogg. Revenge was ever at the forefront of his mind. Revenge for the death of his parents, and revenge for his younger brother. Right. You would have gotten more of this if you did the Dragoon quests in A Realm Reborn, gotten Estinian's backstory and all that. But again, we don't get this until just now. Some character beats that, if this were a later expansion, might have been delivered much earlier. I would venture that in Alphinaud he sees something of his lost sibling. And in the ungentle chidings of Estinian, Alphinaud has found the elder brother he never had. I mean, he has the ungentle chidings of his twin sister. They kind of have not the same relationship as Alphinaud and Estinian, but I guess if Alphinaud wants a prickly personality around him to second-guess his every move, he's still got LSA. Anyway. Truth be told, Estinian's tactless observations have saved me from disaster more than once, and I can well understand Alphinaud's affection for him. He is a friend for whom I would gladly. Lord Commander, your presence is required in the infirmary. Is he? Tell them I am on my way. Quickly, Komoi, we must go to him. Upon proceeding to the infirmary, several cutscenes will play in sequence. Music to any player's ears, any player that likes a story, which is most of the people that are playing this game in the first place. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Don't worry, we've got the entirety of this remaining episode. I specifically cut this up so that it would be its own episode for this long slew of cutscenes. Probably not going to take up the entire episode though, but plenty of time.
Estinian!
Cease your mewling, boy. It grates my ears.
Great. First thing he says when he wakes up. Glad you're back.
Forgive me. When I saw you awaken, I could not... It was such a relief. We feared you might never wake up.
Now, Estinian. If Master Alphinaud thought any less of you, you would still be Nidhogg's plaything. Or dead.
Yeah, show some respect.
Aye, 'twas but a jest. I thank you, Alphinaud. And you too, Warrior of Light. Quite how you managed to persuade Hraesvelgr to aid in his brood brother's downfall I cannot imagine. But full glad am I that you did. Yet again, you have achieved the impossible.
Okay, stop showing respect. That's too much.
I, for my part, owe you an apology. When last we met, I did willingly loose an arrow at your heart. Can you forgive me?
Right, he was willing to kill Estinian, not one episode ago, or two, when we were talking to Hraesvelgr.
There is naught to forgive, Hameric. You but acted in defense of Ishgard as is your duty. Were you any less single-minded about it, I would not follow you into battle, nor trust you at my back. Besides, I had come to the selfsame conclusion that I would have to perish for Nidhogg to be stopped. So let us dispense with the hand-wringing. I have heard enough mewling for one day.
Oh!
The tendrils of Nidhogg's foul presence bound up every fiber of my being, usurping my senses, but I yet retained some trace of awareness.
Okay, that's maybe worse than being completely out of it.
The worm's mind was as a vast and tumultuous sea. Endlessly its black waters churned, his grief and despair at Ratatoska's murder never calming, never receding. Driven by this surging current came wave upon wave of unrelenting rancor. It was the very image of my own heart. There I saw the dark reflection of the hatred I felt after Nidhogg slew my family, when no path remained save vengeance against dragonkind.
Yeah, it's kind of the cool thing about the whole Dragoon lore, isn't it? On a surface level, the Dragoons, which are meant to hunt the dragons, sharing a connection with the dragons, like Estinian does with the Eye and all that, and all of their dragon-like techniques, it kind of doesn't make sense. It's contradictory. But I guess it's supposed to be like that. It's a dark reflection of each other. This endless battle. It's cool.
Neither one of us had a choice. But I was blessed with something Nidhogg was not. Comrades and teachers to console and admonish me. Had I not had them to gainsay my obsession, it would surely have consumed me as Nidhogg's did him, and we would have been in all respects alike. Though his shade is banished, his spirit scattered upon the sea of clouds, I feel no joy at his passing. Where once I craved vengeance, I now crave rest.
It's kind of fitting. It's kind of the first time we see him fully outside of the armor, so the battle's over. He's done.
Lord Commander, my hunt is at an end. I would lay down the mantle of Azure Dragoon.
My friend.
He has tired himself with too many words. I doubt not that he will make a full recovery, but he must be allowed some few days of quiet.
I too must see my path to its end. Sleep well, my friend.
Following the battle with Nidhogg on the Steps of Faith, Sir Emery called an assembly that he might make his final proclamation as acting head of state. 'Twas there, with one decree, that the 1,000-year rule of the archbishops was ended, paving the way for a new republic. The governance of Ishgard would now be placed in the hands of high and lowborn alike, their ranks represented by the newly founded House of Lords and House of Commons. Church was separated from state. The foundation for change had been carefully laid, and the reforms proposed by Ishgard's new government passed into law without incident. His duty done, Emeric de Burrell gladly stepped down from the Archbishop's dais, only to be raised unto the highest seat in the House of Lords.
So I mean, he's still the president, or whatever.
Though he strove at first to refuse this honor, the unexpectedly strident voice of the Count de Durandare left him little choice but to accept.
Durandare, have we had dealings with him? In my playthrough as Komoy, I can't remember.
And so it was that the winds of gentle revolution came to stir.
There's that one again. And Vidalfnir.
Prominent among the many honored guests at Sir Emeric's investiture were the ambassadors of Dragonkind, a fitting symbol of Ishgard's newfound peace. The people looked on in awe as he soared through the heavens on Dragonback. And by their cheers did they hail him an azure dragoon for a new age.
Ooh, him? The Azure Dragoon? Sure, why not? Estinian stone.
Thus were the notes of the dragon song rewritten, the din of war giving way to a rising litany of peace and hope.
That's the title of the quest. From the memoirs of Count Edmond de Fortance, Heavensward. This is another scene that sticks with me. Just this gentle moment where the Count finishes writing the tale, the one that he's been narrating this entire time. That would be the last of his memoirs. No more narration from him, unfortunately. Gonna miss his voice. And we're back here. We're not quite done yet. I'm pretty sure we're done soon, though. When I was gazing out at the sea of clouds in an all too rare moment of idleness. Not when. Let me reread that. I was gazing out at the sea of clouds in an all too rare moment of idleness, when I chanced to behold a certain hero, wending her way towards the city on Dragonback. Welcome home, Komori. I guess we had a little mini time skip, just like some days later, I guess. Nay, 'twas no grave matter that moved me to greet you in person. Between you and me, I merely sought respite from the pressures of office. No sooner do I surrender my role as temporary head of state, than I am burdened with a position of more permanent responsibility. I fancy that it echoes in some small measure the way you must feel, when your improbable feats of heroism are rewarded with still more impossible challenges. Yeah, that is always the case. And this is only expansion 2, if you count A Realm Reborn as expansion 1. We still have how many more to go? 3, 4 more? Plus whatever comes out after that? The myth which guided our society for generations lies in tatters. Am I then to be scorned for building upon the system of nobility that I once sought to tear down? And what strange jest is this that places me at its pinnacle, an archbishop's bastard, at the head of the House of Lords? But these questions are for me to answer. It is not in man's nature to change overnight. This I learned through painful experience. And it was this hard lesson which convinced me to take the path which we now follow. Even as we rebuilt the bridge between man and dragon, so must we reimagine Ishgard, one carefully placed stone at a time. We must remember that it is not for us that we lay this groundwork, but for the men and women that our children will become. May their towers rise proudly from the fundament of our legacy. I hear word from Captain Whitecape that Estinian has vanished from his sick room. His willfulness survives undiminished. Should you ever happen upon our unmannerly friend, on your travels, pray assure him that I shall keep Ishgard safe, until he deigns to come home. Thank you, Komori, and please, convey my warmest regards to Master Alphinaud. I think Gameric's arc was pretty effective as a reflection of everything going on with Ishgard. He doesn't represent every part of Ishgard, but he represents a lot of the change in it. And it's good to see that it has some kind of lasting effect. Unlike what happens with Ul'dah and all of the messy business there, where things just kind of go back and forth and feel like they end up back to square one. But I guess they're different cities, so they've got different things going on. Just feels heavily similar. The whole monitor situation, and then the situation with the church. Both of them kind of controlling everyone else. My two favorite NPCs standing in their exact positions that they're always in, when they've got news for me. Who the hell's Solette? You've saved the day again, Komoy. Not that I ever doubted you would. Excuse me, Tataru. Who the hell's this? Mistress Moriko, Solette. My name is Solette. Yeah? What are you doing here? Who are you? I'm sorry. I've just begun working here and I'm not... You're rather famous, you see, and... excuse me. Okay, fine. You get a pass this time. You introduce yourself. We know who you are. I was just surprised to see a new NPC. We had to interrogate them. You spoke with Sir Aymeric. I do not envy his new position. Ishgard has chosen a new road, but one littered with the detritus of 1,000 years of broken faith. Yet though her people may stumble from time to time, I know of none better than Sir Aymeric to lead the march of progress. As for us, there remains a small matter of ushering in a new dawn in the shadow of inscrutable Ascian machinations, and a seemingly endless procession of primals. But we too must walk our chosen path, no matter how treacherous the footing. You said it. We get a wind-up Aymeric. Great. The Dragon Song, music, orchestrion rule, and a coat. For glamour, I guess. In the wake of Ishgard's governmental reform, new airship routes have been sanctioned. You may now travel to a selection of distant locales from the landing in Ishgard. Okay, I wasn't aware that was something that happens in patch 3.3. Not that I ever really use it, but we can, I guess, check that out. You know, we almost forgot. These guys, they're still around. They kinda took a back seat, didn't they? What could be down there? What could have landed down there? Who knows? It's a mystery. Thank you, Blainhairs. Nay, you need not remain there. We shall rendezvous at the usual place. All is proceeding as expected, then? Aye, there is naught to concern us, aside from one overly curious mouse. What mouse? We know those boots. Those old boots. This way. Him again. It is of no moment. They will play their part, and we will play ours. It's a good thing Tancred is better at hiding than Alice. And thus did grey mist give way to azure skies, man and dragon rise above, voices joined in song. But beneath shrouded bows, beyond the scope of light, shadow stirs. And that's 3.3 done. Took about 40 minutes to get through all those cutscenes. Again, good thing I set aside some time for this. But now, we've got a lot unlocked. We had to wait for the end of patch 3.3, the end of the Dragon Song story, to unlock certain things here in Ishgard that are dependent on that. The one biggest thing is something I'm not going to do this episode, but it should be lying around, not here. Just to dangle it on video in front of the screen. Right... where is it? There. both of these. Well, this one's just the housing, but this one, the firmament, this is a huge thing that they added in Shadowbringers of all things during the patches then. Years and years from when this patch would have released in Heavensward. A kind of thing where you go back to Ishgard and do this. Help rebuild Ishgard after all of the trouble that they went through. And of course, these guys are going to be here rebuilding this part of Ishgard forever. It's never going to change. But the part that you do help rebuild Ishgard is the firmament through this quest, which is actually a huge crafter/gatherer type thing. Great for leveling though, so I'm glad I'm unlocking it now, but it is going to be a huge undertaking to start doing all of that if I want to get all of that stuff on camera, or at least a sizable portion of it. There might be some other things that unlocked in 3.3. Of course, other than the usual trials for the Warring Triad, the dungeons that we unlock, and other things like that, the raids. The first thing that we're going to do in this remaining time in the episode is immediately have some nostalgia. Do a little victory lap. This quest right here, which just unlocked. Welcome, Mistress Moriko. Shall I show you inside the manor? I guess it's inside, it's not from that guy. It's from this guy. This is actually a side quest chain that doesn't actually get you any content, not like the blue icon side quest things, but it is something that is important to the story. Well, kind of, as a epilogue sort of situation. So we're going to do this episode and probably not finish it, and continue it next episode and decide what we do from there. It was bitterly cold when you first came to our city, when I stood waiting for you before the Ark of the Worthy. To think that was where it all began. How much has changed since that day. Forgive me. Of late I have been studying the works of a Balladian poet king, who wrote, "To ye who ask of things to come, give thought to what is past and gone." So rarely have we the luxury to reflect on the choices we have made, on how they have shaped our lives and the lives of others. Even I, a mere steward, whose deeds would not merit a footnote in the annals of history, can see the value in this. I say this to you, Mistress Moriko, because as you move, so too does the world. Pray spare a moment to contemplate your journey while you can. The road stretched on, obscured by an endless veil of snow. Somewhere in the white, beyond stood the great iron gates, and on the other side, a humble manservant, who awaited the coming of 3 travelers. Yeah, I guess this guy was there at the beginning. How fitting. And let's hear from these two. Their in-between patch dialogue. It would seem that our dear friend Justinian has slipped from his sickbed and vanished from the city. I guess we can't get his in-between patch dialogue because he's just nowhere to be found. Were it anyone else, I might expect a word of farewell. But such is not his way. Nevertheless, I shall thoroughly berate him for his lack of manners the next time we meet. And Totoro? When the Horde began their assault, I made sure to have my trusty grimoire to hand, and the incantations at the ready. She's still a summoner, I guess. Funny that. I thought she abandoned that entirely, but I guess, nope, she's still ready to pull it out if she needs to. It had been some time since I last conjured Carbuncle, however, and, well, it's probably best that we not discuss how that ended. Okay, well, she's not exactly a summoner. I mean, she can summon the thing, she just can't control it. She's a summoner, not a controller. No one said you had to control the thing. I've never actually done this side quest on my main character. I should probably get around to it at some point. Is that a bucket? That's a bucket. It's magical, that's why I can move around. Oh, before we continue though, maybe we should put on that new coat that we got. Do we look good in it? I hope so. It's a cold night. Might as well dress warmly. Moment of truth. It's not the worst thing in the world. It doesn't exactly match our boots. What if we dyed it a bit? Actually, I guess the gloves don't exactly clash with it. They look okay with the coat. The little white frills coming out. What if we made this like a ruby red? That's a bit too much, isn't it? I was trying to get it to match the red on the boots. What about the Dalamud red? Of which we have a few on hand. It's a bit better, but the red, while it does match the boots, is a bit strong, isn't it? And it also changes the entire color of the thing. What about the secondary one? What is the secondary dye channel? Oh, it's just that piece. It just changes the white parts. I don't know, I don't think we can make this work with these boots. Not with what we have, or even at all. Yeah, the red's too strong. We'll take it. We'll take it as it is. Or maybe we can change our boots? I don't really have any glamour things on hand, so... We just got this thing, I kinda want to dress up. Especially because we're having our little... victory lap, I guess. It'll just be a temporary thing. I'm only gonna take 2 minutes to do this, real quick, in and out. Estinian got a change of clothes, so we deserve one too. The battle's over. What about... not pants, but the boots. Right, we've got the Ishgardian thigh boots. They're Ishgardian, so they should go with this, right? Or I can try it on first. Oh right, I made them black. Or metallic black. Well actually, do I like that better than the basic color? With this coat? Yeah, the white might be a bit too strong with this coat, so... it's a good thing I dyed them already, so apply that. And what about the gloves? Do we want to keep those? Not that. How does that look? Yeah, no gloves is what I would expect for this coat, but if we did keep the coats, or keep the gloves, how would that look? I think it's not terrible. They kind of match the boots, the leathery shine, so... yeah, we'll walk around like this, for a little victory lap. Hiding our weapon, in RP fashion, I guess. Pretty sure this questline is going to involve no actual combat, it's just reminiscing with a bunch of guys you met along the way. Wearing this, I kind of feel like Komoy's become, I don't know, some rich old person that's going through all of their old haunts, remembering the yesteryears or something, even though it just happened. A warm welcome to you, Mistress Moriko. To what do I owe the pleasure? We're just walking around, victory lap. Retracing your steps from the first days in Ishgard. I see. Well, no one could begrudge you for indulging in a little nostalgia. I'm reminded how much I owe you. I owe to you and yours. Lest you forget, foreign merchants were subject to a frankly unreasonable level of scrutiny, until relatively recently. And not so now, however. Now, goods from every corner of Eorzea flow into our markets. And that, my friend, is change we can all appreciate. Merchants of all nations speak a common tongue, and its words are coin. Needless to say, there is little profit to be had in prejudice, especially against those who have received the patronage of a count. Thus, when the wards of House Fortomps arrived, she was glad to make their acquaintance. Are we getting narration from the Count? Are those like lines from his book? Probably not. Giberlant at the Forgotten Night. We were just there. I could have changed my clothes after we got this quest up, but I had no idea. What'll it be then? Ale? Mulled wine? No, don't tell me. Tea? What have you got against tea? You know what? I'll have that, just because you don't like it. Oh, so it's to be memories then, is it? Now there's a bitter draught that'll leave you wanting. Assuming you can remember your own name, that is. Oh, yeah, the Forgotten Night. Take your friend, Tataru. One moment she's just another girl waiting on customers, clearing tables and so forth, and the next she's got a dozen admirers, asking after her every bloody night. And I'll be damned if I can remember how it happened. Singing those stupid songs, dancing those daft dances. Though, to be honest, I think it was her stories that really won him over. Stories of a certain hero's grand adventures across Eorzea, told with a flair that put a minstrel to shame. Shouldn't they be swooning after me instead of Tataru if they really like the stories? I guess she's just really good at telling them. Who doesn't love a good hero's tale, am I right? Else, we've even got one about the man who built this tavern. Was one of the founding fathers of Ishgard, or so it goes. Yeah, we saw the flashback. Now, as the Enchiridion told it, besides Haldras, the only knights who survived the battle with Nidhogg were the founders of the High Houses. Of course, these days, we all know better than to put too much stock in the words of the church, eh? But there's more to our tale than just words. There's a sword, too. One which has been passed down from proprietor to proprietor, since before anyone can remember. She's a rusty old bugger, but if you look closely at her handle, you can just about make out an inscription. Brothers brave and true, live well, forgotten and content. A man who forsook wealth and fame, and chose the life of a humble tavern keeper. It's just a tale, of course, albeit a good one. As for the truth, who can say, friend? Who can say? I can say, I saw it. He knew everyone's story, though he would never share his own. An optimist, he wanted to believe in the best in people. Sometimes that faith would be rewarded, other times betrayed. But he would listen, regardless, and he would hope. I like this narration voice, whether it's Count Edmont or not. We just kind of got some insight into these people from a third-person perspective, or rather a fourth wall perspective, something like that. And the voice is properly poetic, again, making me think that it's from the book. Laniite, whose name I always pronounced as Laniette. The target of Amanoline's affections, I guess. Though she'd have none of it. Mistress Moriko, I was but in this moment thinking of you. I had hoped to speak with you at Sir Americ's investiture, but circumstances conspired to prevent me from attending. Yeah, you've got to stand here, always. You're rooted to the spot, as NPCs are. Mayhap you will allow me to say now what I could not say then. On behalf of House Hynort, and all of Ishgard, I offer unto you my deepest and most humble thanks. You risked your life to stand against our sworn enemy, and freed us from a millennium of torment. Though we can never hope to repay you, we will ever remember you and your deeds, that our children and their children's children might know the woman to whom they owe their lives. Ahem, I concede that the grand investiture would have been a more fitting occasion for such words, but I could not risk them being left unspoken. What brings you this way? As you can see, Camp Cloudtop remains much the same as it did before or during the war. Though we need no longer watch the skies for Dravanian outflyers, the Vanu Vanu have proven themselves similarly worthy of our attention. Ah, and there he is. I say, old girl, you have the most uncanny ability to appear whenever I least expect you. I could say the same for you. But enough about that. Honorall? Ahem, yes, my lord. Lady Leonard, I am pleased to report that we succeeded in infiltrating Vundu territory, and there observed the beastmen harvesting crystals at several different sites. Based on the volume of crystals acquired during our period of surveillance, I've prepared an estimate of how much time I believe it will take the Vundu to gather sufficient crystals for another summoning. I have also taken the liberty of drafting several proposals, outlining how the Rose Knights might prevent such an eventuality, such as raiding these sites and securing their stores, as well as a detailed assessment of the risks involved should you choose to proceed. Ahem. You did all that? That's a lot of work. For you to do. You, Honorall, not a Manolane. By the Fury, I gathered you were clever, but I was not aware that you were capable of this. With respect, you are wasted on your master. Hardworking, full of potential, I think there is a place for you here, with the Rose Knights, if you would have it. That you would even consider taking me into your service is a tremendous honor, my lady, and were I free to do so, I should gladly accept. But I am pledged to another, as you well know. Too honorable. Regrettable, but understandable. I take comfort in the fact that a youth of your talent and character will never want for opportunities. I like that expression. From hatred to a smile. Well, I'm not sure if he's exactly happy right now, but... Pledged to another, you rascal. I thought I saw you whispering in young Saulette's ear the other day. Oh. Her? Really? That's going on in the manor? How juicy. The sweet deeds, the hot gossip. I love it. You certainly wasted no time wooing our newest maid. There'll be no secrets between us. You must tell me everything. Where you've been sneaking off to together, what adventures you've been having, every little detail. And don't you dare leave anything out. I am sure he will not. In any event, you have jointly exceeded my expectations. I grant you leave to return to the city. Should the need arise, I shall call upon you again. Thank you, my lady. I believe we shall do as you suggest. Until we meet again, Mistress Moriko. Not so fast. The airship isn't due for another hour, and we have so much to talk about. Honorall? Honorall! For all the lady's disdain, it was an old familiar dance. To her, Lord Manolane would always be the boy, fumbling for a compliment. And perhaps there was a comfort in that. A memory of home on the bleak frontier. Well, it's good to hear that it's not entirely unwelcome. What is unwelcome is going to Falcon's Nest, because that place always has terrible weather. Well, most of the time. I guess we can, find a place to take cover in, can't we? There's that one room where we got poisoned. we can take a load off there as we end the episode. This is only quest 1 of a several quest long chain. It seems like we're going to be in this for the long haul. This might even take even longer than the next episode, even though I already started a lot of this quest in this episode. Well, I guess there's only one way to find out, and that's to actually do the quest next time. Now would be a good time to take a break.